You are listening to the Icehouse Podcast, hosting conversations with gritty Kiwi business owners and leaders and industry-leading minds.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Icehouse Podcast. And in 2023, this is the first recording for 2023. And I'm really excited to get into a new year of sharing our alumni stories. My name is Bryar Stewart. I'm the community manager at the Icehouse. And today I am chatting with Matt Cropp. He is the co-founder and managing director of Crops NZ. And he has done our Taking Your Business Forward program in 2021, so a couple of years ago now. But yeah, really looking forward to hearing your story, Matt, from where it's developed and where it's heading. So thanks heaps for being on the podcast.
No, thank you. It's good to be with you too today. Yep.
Totally. Yeah, looking forward to it. First question I like to ask is really open. So you answer it how you wish, but it is, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Matt Cropp?
Okay, I suppose I'm a country boy, country Kiwi boy, and grew up, my parents were beekeepers, so in the Nelson district.
Wow.
And Nelson, Tasman, and they worked hard in the bee business, exporting honey. Most of it was sent overseas. So I was quite involved in that as a kid, and got exposed to hard work and risk reward, being in business or being self-employed, and also being out in nature as well. Like I think beekeeping's the perfect scenario in that context. It also involves getting stung and a bit of hardship and hard work too. So that's where I come from. I then trained as an aircraft engineer, so moved to Christchurch and did a formal training and apprenticeship with Air New Zealand, and trained as qualified as an aircraft engineer and fixing 737s and ATR aircraft. So that was good too. That sort of that taught me a lot and gave me a lot of probably understanding around systems and how a team works, even different personalities, dealing with different people under environment that's typically quite high. It's a high quality workmanship, and also it's got its time pressures as well. So that's where I came from, and then I went back to the bee business, and then an opportunity came along for us to get into skincare. So by then, my wife and we decided that we were going to go into business for ourselves. So that's really
awesome.
Where we're at. I also grew up with 3 sisters, and I often say I had 4 mums. So one of the things that we do in business is we employ entirely women, so working mums, and they're all working mums, actually, our team here.
Wow.
To me, they're amazing what they can achieve, and what they fit in as well in a day. And I think I have nothing but awe for what they can do, and they're also as passionate for our business as we are. So I really value that.
That's so cool. Was it a purposeful decision to hire women only? And
it is and it isn't. I think I understand, that it's a good thing, if they can, we're reasonably flexible. So, and we manufacture, when we've got something to do, we need to do it. But then we also have times where they can do other things. And, there's some flexibility in our employment. So it works both ways. And And then also it is something that has come along. They just seem to be more adapted to the work that we do, and that they love doing it, so
yeah, that's so cool. I had a quick look at Bee's Brilliance, the skincare brand on the website, and the reviews, like I cannot get over how incredible the reviews on these products are. Like, wow, some of them are like, best skincare they've ever come across. And, you're creating a brand that cares about, like you say in your mission statement, about the health of these people, but also the environment, the community, the people you're working with. And that's really coming across in many angles.
Yeah, it's something that we're passionate about. We develop that into the products. All the ladies here use the products, and so do I.
Totally.
And so we well before a product is rolled out, we have trialed it and critiqued it and adjusted and made it better. So we're pretty proud of that.
Very, very cool. Yeah, my mum's birthday is coming up soon, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna jump on there and check it out because the reviews are incredible, and love that in your staff profiles, each staff member had their favorite products. I thought that was quite a cool touch, and how I sort of connected with the products in the first place. But yeah, that's cool. I've got to ask the question: how many times do you think you've been stung by a bee?
So I wouldn't know actually, but some days you could be stung up to 100 times.
Wow.
Other times you might not get a sting all day. So it really depends on the environment that you're working in. If it's sort of the pressure, really, if the barometric pressure is low, the bees tend to be quite intolerable. If it's a beautiful fine day and there's nectar being collected, the bees are amazing. They just do their thing and you do yours. So pretty cool. Amazing to see what they do and what they're capable of in the context of a colony and what they.
It must be beautiful to see. That's very cool. So on that note, and just in terms of how you live your day to day, what does a day in the life of Matt look like? Help us imagine that.
It's interesting. It's really, I suppose we're small business owners. So my wife and I, we get to work as soon as we can, and I get up at 6, and we'll have a coffee together.
Cool.
And I suppose we spend a bit of time, getting ourselves ready, and then I sort of feel that's important, is how you come to work as much as being at work, and so that's really the day as a whole is spent managing small business. So, and looking for, there's always a myriad of things to do, and categorizing what's most important, and it's customers, suppliers, staff, and and looking at there's often different opportunities, looking at where we can get a win situation, and it will work. And
totally. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes so much sense. I'm quite interested and want to go back a little bit to your move from, so your parents were in the beekeepers, which is really cool, different industry. Then you decided you wanted to sort of learn how to fly planes and be in that space. What made that switch for you happen? Where did the passion of planes come from? And then also would be quite keen to hear how you then decided to switch back and go back into that industry that was so formative to those beginning years.
Yeah, so really, I suppose I've always been very interested in making things work, and whether it's in here we deal with a lot of chemistry, and engineering has certainly been something that I'm passionate about. I, as a kid, would, fix things up. If it was an old, I remember one time as a child, I had this basically boxes of bits that was a motorbike, and so we put it all together, and
so cool.
A couple of trips into town to get the right parts and things, and so eventually that was able to be ridden, and I had a lot of fun on it. But
cool.
Just I suppose in the context of maybe just learning how to make things work, and getting a real sense of satisfaction out of it. That's certainly what's moved me into aircraft. It's a sort of Formula One of the sky. So
yeah,
and I couldn't be a pilot because I'm entirely deaf in one ear. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's something that was the next best thing, is fixing them and working on them. So that's how we went to that. And then so coming back to the family business has always been of interest to me because it was more nature based. So we were doing something that was good for the planet. And, obviously aircraft, it's the opposite. It's burning fuel to get us from A to B, and that's a necessary thing. But you're also working amongst oils and machinery, and so eventually I sort of decided that I wanted to kind of be outside of the workshop. And that's what led to getting back into the bees and the honey business as such.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. What's been a highlight of the journey so far?
It's probably for us, it was starting our own business. So we went from working in a family business that was well established to actually hopping on the driver's seat ourselves to start our own business, and that started in a Skyline garage, mixing and making creams and washes. So that was it was real grassroots, and that's been a journey. Like, we've been doing that now for 8 years, so it's certainly had its challenges, and then and there's no real regrets that we have for doing that. It's been worth our while to make that change, for us personally, and to create something that we can employ others for. And
brilliant.
Whole journey, really.
Yeah, can you explain, we've talked a bit about Bees Brilliance, but in terms of how Crops NZ works, can you explain the structure of that?
Yes, so we've got a couple of brands. So we have Bees Brilliance, which is a honey-based skincare, and that's what we started with as our launching skincare range and it was to be exported, and also we sell at New Zealand Pharmacy, and so that's what got us started. And also in the same context, we started with contract manufacture, which is making cosmetics for other brands as well. So that's really our business. We've also over COVID, we did a lot of sanitizer. We did also a derma cream, which is healing hand and body. We do. We've launched also a range for supermarket, which is FMCG product, and it's a body wash range called Factory Road.
Cool.
And it's we're actually based on Factory Road, but it's where it's made, and it's made with local active ingredients. So it's like local fruits. So yeah, that's our business. But since COVID and since doing the program, one of our moments of enlightenment, you could say, is that we realised that we get quite a thrill out of contract manufacture, and that we are helping another brand do the same, and we're working with others to achieve a product that sometimes is quite unique, like it's entirely different to what's already out in the marketplace. So that's very rewarding, and that's something that we do a lot of now. Well, it's a bigger part of our business.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's so cool to hear. Sort of having your own brand and then working with other brands and other people's to bring their vision and goals to life. Quite a cool balance you've got going on there. Really love that. And also love the grassroots story of, we started with making creams in our garage and, I think that's always a really fun, but a story of grit, really, of hard work and of a lot of long hours, I'm sure, trying to get to where you are today. So that's very cool to hear. Sort of on that theme, would love to hear if there's a current challenge you're looking to overcome this year in 2023 within the business.
It's an interesting year. Like we've always found retail and sales and things a little bit lighter in an election year. So, and then there's also interest rates are going up. So we're quite aware of you could say those macro indicators, but for us, it's to really, our challenge that we've put to our team is to deliver our best results to who we currently have, and so rather than just sort of seeking some new and big opportunities, we're really quite service focused for this year, and that takes it's you need both. You need to focus on the future and what's ahead, but also doing what you can do and doing it to the best possible. That's really important for us. So really, that's our challenge to our team.
Yeah, great. Just simplifying and becoming really good at what you guys do. I quite like that. That's brilliant. And we're hearing that a lot from a lot of our business owners. This is a year sort of of uncertainty in terms of, where the market's going to be and, this word of recession. But what I am noticing is a lot of these business owners are, putting their head down, focusing on what they do really, really well, and just keeping that positive headspace through it all. So it sounds like you're the same there, Matt.
I mean, it's we're living in the best place. So and it's doing what we do best. So.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I'd love to hear if there's any misconceptions about the industry you're in that you'd like to debunk.
That's always an interesting one, because we often, as like in the chemistry of skincare, a lot of it is to do the same thing. Like 80% of our products, a moisturizer is a moisturizer, and so it's that there's a little portion of it, or there's 20% that is actually doing something different. So that's something we're quite aware of. Probably the biggest misconception is in recycling of packaging. Like we have, everyone talks about a circular economy, and also that plastics are bad. We have a lot of brands that will prefer glass and aluminium. And so one of the misconceptions is that plastic is entirely bad, but if it's done right, it can be recycled. And also now we're getting some other polymers that are like starch based, and they're good, but they also involve a lot of education. So you can't recycle them; they've got to be composted, so they actually have to be, disposed of. So recycling starch pollutes the plastic circular economy. So so there are misconceptions. They're really around education and making sure consumers understand that.
Yeah, totally. And cool to hear you're on that journey of, the environment and what that means to you. And
it's huge. Yeah, it's entirely part of what we do and what brands that we work with. It's important to them. So.
Can you unpack that a bit more for me? What is that? You say it's huge. What does that look like for you in terms of within your decision making? Is it anything to do with, the partners that you work with or the materials? How does that look in terms of your decision making, it being such a big piece to the business?
Yeah, so every ingredient has its basic information. We look at and break it down into what it is, what its function is, what it performs for, and then we look at, there's a lot of those other additional factors like where it's come from. For example, we use glycerine that's either coconut based or soy based. You can get a lot of glycerine available that's palm based. So and you can get actually mixes. So we have to watch that because suppliers of ingredients can often change across, or they produce a mix which they told us was soy and it's partly palm. Most of palm based products now are RSPO, so they're responsibly harvested, but to a consumer that they do not get that, like they would prefer non-palm. So that's quite important. We dive into that, and packaging is just the same. Where the plastic comes from, we use a lot of PCR or it's been once recycled or post-recycled PET. So that has a lot of data with it, and so we go through that before we ever use it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. No, it's cool. It's really cool to hear from a business that is, environmentally focused and really putting that lens on every decision they make. It's quite cool. I want to ask this question, if you could go back in time, what piece of advice would you give your younger self? I'll go with that.
Okay, well, I suppose sometimes it's very easy to make things complicated, and so it's really being focused on the basics and getting. I always say about a good leader, for example, is being able to simplify something complicated, and so that would be. I love detail. Like I love tech. Something that's technical, I'll read into it, study it. I want to know all about it. And that is quite a flaw when you're in business, because you don't have, time's not on your side, and you don't have time to research everything.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it's the way I work with things rather than what's around me. It's how I deal with it. And that's quite important, or more important now, I feel, for me, is looking at a situation and how I'm going to work with it than blaming the situation or looking at something that is a thing, like it's.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. That attitude piece to business ownership and how you're dealing with different situations, for sure. That's cool. Matt, do you have a sense of purpose or a motivation to get up every day? You're passionate about what you do. I can definitely tell that.
Yeah, well, we do. Yeah, I think it's to make the world a better place, and that I suppose is why we do what we do, and it's following something that that you are passionate about and you believe in, that I think has to be there for you to want to do more about it. And we've also got people around us, our team, I'd say even my wife they're amazing in what they do and who they are. And so we, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, very cool answer.
That's what gets me out of bed.
Yeah, that's it. That's very cool. I'm wanting to change gears a little bit, Matt, and just talk a little bit about your experience through the Icehouse, how you have become part of the community. Would love to hear how did you first hear of the Icehouse and taking your business forward program?
Yeah, so I heard it from a friend of mine. He was working in a family business called Spiral Drillers, and
cool, yep.
So Andy Hanna, and he did the course. He did the owner manager course.
Yep.
About probably 15 years ago.
Wow.
10 years ago or something. So I heard about it from him, and he said it was the best thing he did.
Uh-huh.
So that was always on my radar to look into it if I had time and to make the time for it. And then more recently, last few years, we had a insurance broker who was Stephen Doki.
Cool.
He's been an advocate for the Icehouse. Well, he's now not with us, but he was an amazing ambassador for the Icehouse. So he backed me, and he said I had to do it. And then that was the year before, and then he said, he made it happen, really. And you can find excuses to not develop yourself, but really your business is who you are and what you do, and so that's where I decided that I had to up and bite the bullet.
Yeah. Go for it. Oh, that's so cool and great to hear. Even after Stephen's passing, just the impact he's still continuing to have, on this world, in terms of the people he's pushed in a really healthy, awesome way to back themselves and to be bold. It's cool to hear you're part of that story.
Yeah.
At the time, did you have any hesitations around doing it? Were you, anything that crossed your mind that you're like, oh no, don't know if this is right?
Yeah, I do. I suppose I was a bit concerned around because we taking the business forward was online, so it's like we're doing today.
Yeah.
And that isn't me. Like I'm quite a hands-on sort of person. Totally. So technology is always a step into the unknown. And but that aside, I suppose I always thought I'd do it at some point. So, and the benefit is that you're with other business owners that are in the same boat, and that are experiencing quite often similar things, and they're not necessarily in your industry.
Yeah.
And I was reading some advice recently about about looking at other businesses, and it suggested finding some local businesses just to observe that aren't in the industry, and I find that real helpful. I've got family that other businesses where they that I can go that aren't industry related, and I always find it fascinating what they do and do differently and better.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's so cool. And yeah, we hear that from a lot of our alumni, just that idea of connecting with business owners that aren't necessarily in the industry, but just still get it. I think, a positive of being on the online courses, it's really people from all over New Zealand can join, really, really accessible, which is cool to hear. You were one of those. Yeah, that's great. What would you say your biggest takeaway was from taking your business forward?
It was probably the purpose, like really looking down into the purpose of, why you're doing something, and what you are doing and why you're doing it. That was for me also the working with the other, the other owners on, like, we had some discussion groups where we shared a lot of our own experiences. And that to me is, is just, priceless, really. Just to hear others in the same boat and what they've done about it, or what, they've challenges they've maybe had, or things that have worked out really, really well for doing it differently. So, so that's probably my biggest takeouts, and finding we have our own brands that we launched with, but we have moved towards contract manufacture, and that's part of that change, because we realised that delivering for others is actually as rewarding as having our own brand. And me being a little bit more technical, it's not what often a brand owner has, so we can deliver on that. And so that, there are things that have come from that, looking at why we're doing it.
Yeah, I love what you said around this idea of really working out what your why is, because I do think sometimes, you launch a business, and then before you know it, every small, medium-sized business owner is busy. They've got things on their plate, and you're just sort of moving. And sometimes just taking the time to stop and go, why are we doing this? What is our purpose? Actually, we find just as much joy in manufacturing for other people's brands and ideas. Just taking that, if you hadn't taken the time to think about it, that may not have come to the forefront. So yeah, it's quite interesting. I quite am inspired by what you've said there. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I'd like to hear, you mentioned jumping online and what that meant for you. Taking your business forward exists to make learning really accessible across all of New Zealand, obviously being based in Nelson. Once you got into the flow of things, did you find it really beneficial being online, so that took out the flying aspect if it was in Auckland or Christchurch or somewhere else? Did you have any thoughts on how that worked in the end?
Yeah, I don't think technology replaces face-to-face, like, personally.
Yeah.
I like to think it adds to our lives, and it gives us a lot better accessibility and things. But I'm still a component of me is on. I'll get on the phone and talk, or I'll fly to Auckland and meet with someone. That for me is still there, but I think for the program, it was entirely suitable. So it worked for me. It achieved as much as it would doing a face-to-face. So, and I think that's because it's been deliberately,
designed that
developed
way.
or designed that way. So
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And I agree. I just love the online, the in-person, connection. And love being able to, actually, it highlights being able to meet some of our Taking Your Business Forward alumni at like in-person events, because of the power of coming together, and meeting in person and bouncing ideas around. So yeah, it's cool to hear you can have a bit of best of both worlds. But
that's what it is. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I would love to hear, just to sort of round this convo off before we get into some fun, quick fire questions. What does the future look like for your business, Matt, Crops NZ? What excites you about that future?
Yep. So that's what we hold in our hands, that's what we do. So we've got a more streamlined development process. So one of the things is be able to take an idea or someone's next new product quickly to market, and that's it's networks within packaging, it's ingredients, it's the systems that we have and the testing that we can do quickly and efficiently. So all those things are in place, and so one of the way we see it is be able to deliver that quicker and more efficiently, and that'll serve us into the future well. So
that's so exciting. I love that, and kind of what you said during the conversation around doubling down on what you're passionate about, what you're good at, simplifying, and then being bold in that. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this year holds for you guys and the team. Yeah, do you want to finish on just some quick fire questions? Is that cool?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
If you could, fire away. If you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
Yeah, so it could be a mixture of people, but
yeah,
the probably actually have a lot of time for FDR or Franklin Roosevelt, but Eleanor Roosevelt, she's an amazing lady, and I often quote her actually, or try to quote her.
yeah.
She would definitely be my pick. She was,
cool.
Most people will know she's the longest serving first lady that, president. So, and she was an amazing person in, what she did for human rights and encouraging. She often talked about the future. I think I quoted, like it's in our hands. That's her.
Yeah, cool.
Like what we do today is what will be in the future.
Yeah. So. Brilliant. Great answer. What was your favorite subject at school, Matt?
Anything out of the classroom. So, PE. That's weird. Like, I love woodworking.
Cool.
We're a country school, so we were there for our lunch. But I'm saying that I could enjoy the classroom too. I did a bit.
Oh, brilliant. I love that. This is an interesting question. You're a bit of a guinea pig with this question, so let's see what happens. If you had to write a book tomorrow, what would you write about?
So I'm quite passionate about men's health.
Cool.
So it'd possibly be that, but then also I think in a lot of ways, I also study succession, like family business and succession. That's been a topic of interest, and I think men's health would actually play into that a bit. But I think finding purpose and the reason, and doing it in a constructive way, that would be probably the subject I'd choose.
Awesome. You did so well. I'm sticking with that question for this year. I think it's a good one to ask. And I really liked your answer and agree that men's health and succession would actually tie in a big way.
Yeah.
Next question is a productivity hack for business owners.
Yes, so it's interesting because productivity is, what I would say is, it's not technology. It's technology can help productivity, but a lot of things that you can achieve or do more efficiently is by doing them differently. And I feel sometimes we always think, oh, let's put a new computer program in, let's put a new machine to do that job. And it's how, is that the right call? Like, it's looking at options. And probably the other single thing I'd say, it's not really a hack, but always look at the commercials if you're going to do, whether it's anything, like that's what productivity drives, really, is a gain, doing something better or more efficiently.
Great answer. This isn't a productivity hack, but it's something that you said right at the start, which I really want to bring up again. And that's how you go for a coffee with your wife every morning, just to sort of set the day up for a win. And I just think that's really cool. It's a cool way to, integrate that into your morning routine, have a chat, set your mental health in a good place, and go on with your day. So I just wanted to take a moment to say that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that with us earlier on.
It'd probably be important to me. That's the most important thing to start with is that time. I wouldn't say the actual act, what it is, but it's just the time that sets you up. Some people say, "Oh, you've got to make your bed because that's how you're going to mean to continue." So I think I do that as well. So
yeah, no, that's really cool. And last question I have is, where can listeners find you, support the work that you're doing as well, Matt?
Yeah, so Cropp online, it's cropps.com.
Cool.
So CROPPS.com. Or call us and talk about it. If there's an idea to take to market, we entirely capable of that. And also, it's just good sometimes just to look at what it is and how we could help, or who could help.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Awesome.
We'll look for our Bees Brilliance and Factory Road, which is in the supermarkets around New Zealand. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for that for sure. But thank you so much, Matt, for jumping on the podcast today, for sharing the story, but also really great sort of advice and tips and tricks as a small business owner. Really appreciate your time today.
Yep. No, thank you. It's nice to share it and to encourage others to get on the program. It's been helpful, and I know it can be for anyone else that's aware and knows that they need other skills and to work at themselves. So
yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you.